What's up, you guys? I hope I found you guys in good spirits and that you're taking good care of yourselves during this time. I originally planned on filming this part of the video live, but when I went to do so, my audio came out really funky and just not good. So here comes a voiceover Nina to save the day. But let me just start off by saying that I know I only have 22 subscribers right now, and I'm grateful for every one of them. But if there's any of you guys out there, even just one person who comes back and watches my videos, this is for you. I know I haven't been posting videos or looks, and I know you guys are all aware of COVID-19 and how it's impacting the world. That includes me, guys. Those of you that don't know, I'm an assistant store manager at Aldi, and it has been excruciatingly demanding at work. Lots of hours have been worked and lots of butts have been busted. So yeah, that's why I haven't been here, but I just want to let you know that I'm going to get videos up as much as I possibly can and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my rant. That's my explanation. And so yeah, if you want to see how I got this look and you came back to watch this video, then keep on watching the video then, guys. What's up, you guys? Thanks for making it back to my channel if you did. And to start out the video, I'm going to carve out my brows and prime my lids using my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair. I'm going to carve out my brows using a small flat concealer brush like always. And then when I go to prime my lid, I'm going to take my Farah E35 Fluffy brush to pack the product into my lid to get it to start to set here. Okay, so now it's time for shadows. I'm going to take my Morphe / James Charles palette, and I'm going to take the shade 10% off on a very small flat packing brush, and I'm going to start to pack the shade into my crease like usual. Since we are doing a winged out cut crease today, I'm going to make sure to create a more winged out shape with the eyeshadow, and I'm going to be using blending and packing motions throughout this step here, but mostly I'm just going to pack the shade on. I'm not really focused on blending the shade out just yet. Alright, for my second transition shade, I'm going to stick with that same palette we used before, and I'm going to take the shade Code James from the palette, and I'm just going to start to use that shade to start to diffuse the edges of that first shade. And the brush here I'm using is the number 2 Tapered Diffuser Brush by BH Cosmetics Smoky Eye Set. So just make sure everything is nice and seamless here. You guys know the drill. Everything should be nice and diffused and everything like that. Don't worry about losing any pigmentation from your first shade or anything like that, because we are going to go back and fix that here in a little bit. Okay, so at this point, we're just going back and forth between shades. So here, I'm going back in with that very first shade. I think it was 10% off, yeah. On my number 3 blending brush by BH Cosmetics Smoky Eye Set. And we're just going to re-intensify that shade. Do one last sweep to make sure there's no rough edges. After that, I'm going to take the shade 518 from the palette, and I'm going to use this as my very last transition shade, just to make sure everything is nice and blown out and diffused. All right, my beautiful girls, now it's time to cut the crease, my favorite part. Whoop whoop. No, I'm just kidding. But so yeah, I'm just gonna use that same concealer and little brush that I used to prime my lid earlier. That's my Tarte Shape Tape concealer in the shade Fair. And since we are doing a winged out cut crease, I'm going to make sure to create that type of shape with the concealer here. But yeah, it's the same concept as usual. Just make sure you're taking your time and focusing on creating a nice shape, one that's really even with your actual eye shape. The only thing is I do take my cut crease higher than my natural lid, just to give off the appearance of a larger lid space, but it also is a lot more appealing to the eye if you do it that way. So yeah, just take your time, guys, and yeah. So once my cut crease is cut, I'm going to take the shade Social Blade from the James Charles palette. It's just that nice lime green shade, and I'm going to pack that shade onto that wet lid. I don't set my base. I never set any of my bases, just to ensure that my eyeshadows are coming out nice and pigmented, and I'm getting a full payoff from them. The brush I'm using here to set my lid is a lip brush by BH Cosmetics Lavish Elegance brush set. Okay, now it's time for that glitter detailing on the lid there. So to do so, I'm just going to take my NYX glitter primer and line the area that I want to put the glitter. Then I'm going to take my NYX loose glitter in the shade Gold and just pack that right on top of the glitter glue. Disclaimer, I definitely should have took some concealer and carved out the area where I wanted to stick the glitter, just because I think the green shadow definitely took away from the payoff that I could have gotten with the glitter had I have did it that way. But yeah, just for next time, these are always learning experiences for everybody. So next, I'm going to add my eyelashes. They are my Crystal Lashes in the style Bonita, and I'm going to use my Duo Lash Glue in the shade White to stick those on, and I'm going to use my Revlon tweezers to aid me in applying them. Next, it's time to start prepping the skin. So I'm going to take my Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer and buff that into my skin using my fingertips. Then I'm going to take my Becca First Light Priming Filter and I'm going to buff that in using my unicorn brush. Alrighty then, so for foundation today, I'm going to take my Tarte Face Tape Foundation in the shade Light Medium Sand, and I'm going to distribute that all over my face and blend it out using my damp beauty blender. This one is by Real Techniques. Just a little tip, I take a small flat concealer brush, probably the one I use to carve out my brows, and I just outline the outer edges of my eyeshadow so that it doesn't get messed up in the blending process, just in case you're wondering. For concealer, I'm going to take my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer in the shade Light Ivory, and I'm going to apply that on all the high points of my face, and again blend that out using my damp beauty blender. I don't do that same concept with the concealer just because I think it's a little bit easier to control. To set my face, I'm going to take my Milk Makeup Blur and Set Setting Powder, and I am going to apply that using my brushes by BH Cosmetics, the number 3 and number 4 brushes from their Lavish Elegance brush set. The smaller one I think is an actual highlighter brush. I use that to get underneath my eyes and all the harder areas to reach. Then I take my bigger brush, which I think is an actual powder brush, to get the larger perimeters of my face. To bronze my face today, I'm going to take my NYX matte bronzer in the shade Deep Tan and my brush by BH Cosmetics Crystal Quartz brush set. It is their buffing brush, and I'm going to apply that in the hollows of my cheekbones. Next, it's time to work on my lower lash line. So I'm going to take my James Charles palette and pretty much all the shades that I used in the crease. So the first one is 10% off. I'm going to pack that using a shader brush by BH Cosmetics Smoky Eye Set, and I'm going to pack that on the lower lash line. Then I'm going to take the shade Code James on a fluffier brush by BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to blend those two shades together. Then I'm going to take the lime green shade and I'm going to apply that into my waterline using a pencil brush. Then I'm going to take some mascara and coat my lower lash line. Alrighty, so now it's time to set all those liquids and powders in place, and I'm going to do so using my NYX Bear With Me Multitasking Spray. Then it's going to be time to apply a highlighter, and for that I'm going to go into my Anastasia Beverly Hills Aurora Glow Kit, taking the shade Helia and applying that to the high points of my cheekbones, my forehead, the bridge of my nose, my chin. And I'm going to apply it using my BH Cosmetics Spotlight highlighting brush. I'm also going to take that shade and apply it to the inner corners of my eyes there. Last but certainly not least is lips, and for that I'm going to use my NYX Liquid Suede Liquid Lipstick in the shade Downtown Beauty. Alrighty guys, that is it for the video. Again, I am so sorry for the break that I took, I guess. That is just seriously due to the demand at work, but again, I'm going to try my best to get videos up for those of you that do come back and watch my videos, even if it's just one of you. So thank you so much for coming and watching the video if you did, and I really hope that you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.